Welcome back everybody to Extreme Off-Road Silly Builds, and today we're dealing with the 2013 Volvo C30 Polestar. So this now has 668 horsepower, 682 pounds-feet of torque from a 2-litre turbocharged inline-4 engine. The car itself now weighs 2,787 pounds, now has all-wheel drive to go along with the off-road tyres and suspension, and it can now do 0 to 60 in 2.981 seconds, 0 to 106.081 seconds, and go to a top speed of 193 miles an hour. So this is actually our first Volvo out on this series, on this course, and yeah, it's newly introduced into the game via the festival playlist for only 20 points, so get out there and get it if you haven't already. It's really well of a fantastic little car in its stock form, but in terms of stats for this series, it's got fairly good ones, to be honest. The off-road capability is pretty good for what it was originally a front-wheel drive hot hatchback. The braking, launch, acceleration and speed are all fairly solid. Handling could well be an issue though at only 4.7. We've seen it many times where front-wheel drive cars that have been converted to all-wheel drive do tend to have some handling quirks. So yeah, whether or not that's the case for this, we'll have to get out there and see, but on the whole this does look like it has stats and power and acceleration on its side. So yeah, but who knows, because at the end of the day this was not meant for going off-road like many a car on this series. So yeah, I could have upgraded the standard engine up to about 600 horsepower, but obviously that isn't quite as much as plenty of other vehicles on this series, and yeah, that extra bit of horsepower and torque, it's got more than 100 pounds-feet of extra torque over the standard engine upgraded would have got. So yeah, torque and extra power really do come in handy on this series, especially when it comes to launching out of corners. But the biggest issue is going to be whether or not it can deal with the all-wheel drive system or not, because power was not meant to go through those rear wheels, and oversteer sometimes does result. Understeer hopefully shouldn't be too much of an issue, it depends on how much power is split between the front and the rear. But the fact is it was able to deal with nearly 250 horsepower through those front wheels fine. So even if it's an extra 100 or so, I think it should be okay as well. So I'm surprised this is our first Volvo on this series, but hopefully it'll put in a good first time showing. Certainly doesn't have much weight on its side to hold it back, and being a hot hatchback it is obviously going to be quite nimble, which it's proven to be so far. Also helps obviously that it's not a large car either. This is one of those hot hatchbacks that yeah, really do precede the kind of hot hatchbacks of today, where they are much larger and obviously much more spacious and safe, but also larger and heavier as a result. Whereas this being a mid-2000s design, despite being from 2013, is a lot more small compared to some other cars from the same period that this was released. Look at the likes of the Megane or even a Ford Focus from this kind of period, and yeah, they were on the larger side of things compared to this. Proving quite nimble and quite troublesome free, to be honest. And that heavy, well, hefty amount of torque is really helping get into that corners. The fact we don't weigh a huge amount either is meaning that we're not held back. No real oversteer issues at all, really, to be honest. I really was expecting this car to oversteer like mad. There's a lot of hot hatchbacks that were only front-wheel drive originally have done that. So yeah, what have we got? in terms of time. 3 minutes 20.083. That is fairly quick. That is quicker than the Dodge Durango SRT Hellcat from the previous episode by, I think, by nearly 0.6 of a second. But yeah, it's by no means the fastest that we've had by any means, but it's still fairly quick in comparison to some vehicles, especially the kind of vehicles that are meant for going off-road. But if you want to compare it against other hatchbacks that we've taken out, the Ford Focus ST was marginally quicker by about 0.3 of a second. So yeah, that is a slightly quicker vehicle. Other hatchbacks, the Abarth 695 Biposto, that was quicker. Just trying to find them. The crossover Kona N, that was also quicker than this. And the don't think there is that many other hot hatchbacks that were quicker than this. So in all honesty, even though it's not the fastest that we've had, it's by no means been the slowest. Yeah, I think those cars that I've mentioned already are the only ones that you could really say are hot hatchbacks that have been quicker. So yeah, that means that we are faster than some off-road capability, heavy capability vehicles like the Ford F-150 Raptor R, the Chevrolet Silverado LT Trail Boss, the Rivian R1T. We're also quicker than the Fiesta ST from Ford, so that's another hot hatchback, as well as the Hyundai i30N, another hot hatchback. We're also quicker than the likes of the Rivian R1S, the Jeep Gladiator Rubicon, the Renault Clio RS, another hot hatchback. So yeah, certainly quicker than several series vehicles there in terms of off-road capability, but also quicker than several cars in the same kind of class as this. And even though it's by no means the fastest car of its type that we've had on this series, or fastest car in general, it still was really rather fun to drive, mostly troublesome free, and at the end of the day still reasonably quick at that time. So yeah, all in all, a fantastic car, stock form or otherwise. Nonetheless though, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.